Hi ladies. What if I told you that winning over any man doesn't require changing who you are, playing manipulative games, or memorizing scripts, but instead, understanding a few timeless psychological triggers that make you unforgettable? Today, I'm sharing 10 simple yet powerful methods that will make you magnetic to the kind of man you truly want. These aren't tricks, they're mindset shifts and behaviors that naturally pull men in and keep them coming back. Let's dive in. Mystery is your power. There's something magnetic about a woman who doesn't put all her cards on the table. When you walk into a room and you're not in a rush to prove yourself or overshare, you automatically stand out. Mystery isn't about being secretive, it's about restraint. It's about leaving just enough unsaid to spark genuine interest. Imagine this. You're on a first date, and instead of giving him a full tour of your emotional history, you drop a couple of intriguing hints. A story unfinished, a smile that says, maybe later. That's the kind of allure that lingers in a man's mind long after the date ends. Because when he doesn't know everything, he starts imagining everything. And that's powerful. Men are hunters by instinct, not just in the alpha male sense, but neurologically. Their brains crave puzzles and goals. If you instantly become an open book, you rob him of that journey of discovery. He's not looking to check off a checklist of your accomplishments, he wants to feel like he's slowly unlocking something rare. So next time you're tempted to over-explain, pause. Let silence carry part of the conversation. Let your expressions speak more than your words. Allow space, because when you hold just a little back, you give him the gift of curiosity, and that's the first step to emotional attachment. Also, let's be honest, no man ever fell in love with a Wikipedia page. He fell for a vibe, a moment, a glance that made him think, wait, who is she? That question is your power. When he doesn't know your every move, he leans in closer. He asks more, he listens harder, and guess what? You control the pace. You decide when he gets the next piece of your story. You're not playing games, you're creating an experience. Being mysterious also means being selective with what you share. It's okay to let him want more before you give more. A quiet confidence, a thoughtful pause, even a look that says, I know more than I'm saying, all of that builds tension. And tension is the fuel of desire. He's not falling for what you say, he's falling for how you make him feel. And when you feel like a mystery, he feels like an explorer. That's the game changer. So next time you're on a date, resist the urge to over-deliver. Don't over-text, don't over-reveal, let your presence do the talking. Let your pauses be poetry. Leave a few stories untold. Because mystery isn't about hiding, it's about highlighting just enough to make a man crave the next chapter. And that's how you become unforgettable. Mirror his energy, not his words. Every person gives off a certain emotional rhythm, and when you match that rhythm, it feels like magic. If he's calm, and you come in like a whirlwind of nervous energy, it creates a disconnect. But when you align your energy with his, something clicks, and often, he won't even understand why it felt so good to be around you. That's the power of energetic mirroring. It's not about imitation, it's about emotional alignment. Let's say he's relaxed, speaking slowly, leaning back, that's your cue to ground yourself. Speak with that same pace. Don't push the conversation, let it flow. The more you match his emotional temperature, the more he feels seen. And feeling seen is what keeps people coming back. This doesn't mean becoming someone you're not. It means tuning in and responding with awareness. On the flip side, if he's enthusiastic, laughing a lot, and clearly vibing high, meet him there. That's the moment to show your playful, energetic side. Think of it like a dance. If he's doing a slow waltz and you bust out hip-hop moves, no one's enjoying it. But when you're in sync, even silence feels electric. And here's a psychological truth. People are drawn to those who reflect them. It feels validating. It creates the illusion of deep compatibility. It makes them feel safe. When you mirror someone's energy, they subconsciously start to think, we just click. That's not coincidence, that's human behavior. But this goes deeper. Mirroring shows emotional intelligence. It says, I'm not here to perform. I'm here to connect. It removes friction. It invites ease. And in a world full of noise, ease is seductive. If he's sharing something serious, lower your tone, lean in, make space. If he's being silly and flirty, lean into the fun. Adaptability is power, not in a way that makes you lose yourself, but in a way that shows you're present, grounded, there. The goal isn't to win him over, it's to make him feel so at home with you that he naturally wants more. And that starts when he feels you're on the same wavelength. That's the unspoken connection that keeps him hooked, the feeling that, somehow, without trying too hard, you just get him. So don't just listen to his words, feel his vibe, and then reflect it, not like a copy, but like a compliment. Because when your energy aligns with his, it doesn't just create chemistry, it creates intimacy. And that's what he'll remember when the date ends and he's still thinking about you. Use the glance and smile technique. There's a kind of feminine power that doesn't require a single word, and this technique taps into exactly that. The glance and smile is an ancient, silent invitation. You're not chasing, you're not trying, you're just signaling, clearly, softly, confidently, I see you, and I'm open. The best part? It's so subtle, it slips past the ego and speaks directly to a man's instinct to approach. Here's how it works. When you catch his eye, hold it, not in a creepy, stare-down kind of way, but for 2 or 3 seconds. That brief moment of eye contact is electric. It's daring. It makes a man stop and think, wait, was that on purpose? And then, before he can fully process it, you look away. But not coldly, with a soft, knowing smile that lingers just long enough to leave a question hanging in the air. That smile is the key. It says, I'm not afraid. I'm aware. I'm in control of this moment. It's confidence without arrogance, flirtation without desperation. It invites, but it doesn't demand. And that balance, that delicious tension between being approachable and slightly untouchable, is what makes it unforgettable. You don't have to be the most glamorous woman in the room for this to work. You just have to own your energy. Men notice more than you think, and they especially notice women who carry themselves like they don't need anyone, but could choose someone. This technique works because it plays to biology. Men are visual. They're wired to pick up on micro signals. A confident glance cuts through the noise. It tells him, this woman sees him, and she's not afraid of being seen in return. That's magnetic. And remember, the point isn't to force anything. It's to spark something. The glance and smile technique creates a tiny emotional event in his mind, one that can play on a loop for hours. Did she smile at me? Was that intentional? Should I go say something? While he's thinking all that, you're already on to your next moment, sipping your drink, enjoying your night, radiating self-assurance. It's also a filter. The right kind of man, confident, curious, grounded, will catch the signal and respond. The wrong kind? Won't even notice. Perfect. Less noise, more intention. And yes, it's simple. But don't underestimate the effect. One well-timed glance has started more love stories than any pickup line in history. So next time you're in a room and you see someone interesting, don't talk yourself out of it. Lock eyes, hold it, smile, just barely, then carry on like you've already won. Because in that moment, you probably have. Give him space to chase. This is where so many women unintentionally flip the script and lose the power of natural attraction. Let's be clear. You're not supposed to be the one constantly initiating, checking in, and keeping the conversation alive. That's not feminine energy, that's management. And relationships don't need managers, they need balance. Giving him space to chase isn't about withholding love or playing cold, it's about creating a natural vacuum. When you stop flooding the dynamic with effort, attention, and availability, it gives him room to show up, to invest, to pursue. And this is crucial, because pursuit is where attraction grows for men. You may feel the urge to text first, check in, or make plans, especially if you're excited about him. But here's the hard truth. If he's genuinely interested, he will. And if he's not, then no amount of chasing on your part will flip that switch. You cannot force desire, but you can inspire it, by making him feel like he has something to earn. It's in the space that men start to wonder, to imagine, to fantasize, to feel that little edge of uncertainty that drives curiosity. And curiosity is the root of effort. He starts thinking, what's she doing right now? Why hasn't she texted back yet? Is she out with someone? That internal dialogue? That's gold. That's what keeps you in his thoughts long after the conversation ends. This doesn't mean ghosting or being manipulative. It just means not being over-available. It means letting him reach out first sometimes. Letting him plan the date. Letting him show you who he is, instead of trying to keep the momentum going single-handedly. Because when you're always leading, always giving, always initiating, you take away his chance to rise to the occasion. And here's the twist: men actually want to earn it. It makes them feel valuable, strong, confident. When a man feels he's working for your time, your affection, your attention, it activates his masculine energy. And that's the energy that keeps a connection alive, not just in the beginning, but always. By letting him chase, you're not saying, "I'm not interested." You're saying, "I respect myself enough to be pursued." That's not being hard to get, that's being easy to value. You don't need to do more, you need to receive more. And that only happens when you create the space for it. So next time you find yourself reaching for your phone first, pause. Sit in that moment, let him come to you. And if he doesn't, that's your answer. But if he does, and he will, if the interest is real, it will feel 100 times better. Because now you're not chasing love, you're allowing it to find you, on your terms. Master the art of selective vulnerability. There's a beautiful power in being vulnerable, but the key is knowing how much and when. So many women believe that being real means putting everything out there: the pain, the past, the drama, the emotional scars. But true feminine strength isn't found in the flood, it's found in the filter. Selective vulnerability is the art of revealing the right layers of yourself, at the right time, to the right person. Think of it like storytelling. You wouldn't give away the twist ending on page 1. You build tension, you build connection, you let him lean in with curiosity. Oversharing, on the other hand, creates a sense of overwhelm. It's like handing someone your entire emotional backpack and saying, "Here, sort through this." That doesn't build intimacy, it builds distance. But when you share one meaningful detail, like a childhood dream, a lesson you learned from a mistake, a quiet fear you're still working through, you invite him into your world without making him responsible for it. That's the distinction. Vulnerability doesn't mean collapsing into someone's arms and asking them to fix you. It means saying, "This is something real about me. I trust you enough to share it." That builds emotional trust, and emotional trust is what leads to deep, lasting connection. It also makes you human. Not perfect, not a performance, but beautifully layered. Men aren't looking for a flawless woman, they're looking for a woman they can feel close to. A woman who's emotionally intelligent enough to show her truth in doses, not monologues. Selective vulnerability shows you have boundaries, and boundaries are attractive because they signal self-worth. There's also timing involved. Vulnerability on a first date should feel light, not heavy. Save the deepest parts for the moments that earn them. Each layer you reveal should feel like a reward, not an emotional unloading. Think of it like a treasure map. Each piece you offer should make him want to uncover the next. That curiosity keeps him invested. And here's the unexpected magic. When you open up in small, meaningful ways, it encourages him to do the same. It creates a safe, shared emotional space. Suddenly, he's telling you about a moment he doesn't usually talk about, and you're no longer just having a conversation. You're building something. So yes, be vulnerable, but be intentional. Show that you're capable of depth without demanding to be understood all at once. Let him earn access to your heart. Because the woman who gives her emotions slowly, with grace and strength, isn't hiding anything. She's showing that she knows her value. And that's what captivates. Speak with intention, not anxiety. When you speak from a place of calm confidence, every word lands deeper. Every pause feels deliberate, and every moment feels more alive. Speaking with intention means you're not just filling the air with words, you're communicating with presence, with clarity, and with purpose. It's not about being perfect or having a polished script. It's about owning your voice and trusting that silence doesn't need to be feared. Too often, women feel the pressure to talk constantly during a date. To keep things upbeat, to avoid awkward silences, to prove they're interesting. But that's not confidence, that's anxiety disguised as performance. Real confidence doesn't chase attention. It creates space. It lets the moment breathe. So slow down, literally. Speak a little softer, a little slower. Pause, breathe. When you stop rushing your words, they gain weight. He hears them more. He leans in. Why? Because when a woman speaks like she expects to be listened to, people do listen. It's the energy behind your voice that matters even more than what you're saying. And speaking with intention means you choose your words with care. You don't have to overshare. You don't have to fill in every blank. Sometimes, a well-placed question is more powerful than a long explanation. Sometimes, a single thoughtful response leaves a deeper impression than 100 facts about your day. Silence, when used intentionally, is seductive. It creates anticipation. It lets the other person feel like they have space to contribute, and men want to contribute. They want to lead, to initiate, to feel like they're pulling you closer. But when you dominate the conversation out of nervousness, you rob them of that space. And intention is about energy too. When you speak with grounded energy, not needy, not hyper, not overcompensating, you communicate, I'm here, I'm present, and I'm not trying to prove anything. That's magnetic. That's the kind of presence people remember. Think about the women who captivate a room. They're not the loudest. They're not talking the fastest. They're the ones who speak with purpose. Every word feels deliberate. Every sentence carries her essence. That's what you're aiming for. So before you speak, pause for a beat. Feel your words before you say them. Let your voice reflect who you are, not how anxious you feel. The most powerful conversations aren't the ones with the most words, they're the ones with the most meaning. And when you speak with intention, you become the kind of woman who leaves a lasting impression, not because she talked the most, but because everything she said mattered. Make your absence felt. There's something deeply magnetic about a woman who's not always available, not because she's playing games, but because she's genuinely living a full, beautiful life. When you're constantly present, always replying, always saying yes to every plan or call, it creates a kind of emotional flatline. There's no room for a man to feel anything beyond comfort. But when you occasionally pull back, when you're unavailable for a call, not texting back right away, not saying yes to every invitation, it introduces space. And space is where desire breathes. Men need space to notice, to question, to feel that pull. When you disappear just a little, not in a dramatic, punishing way, but in an empowered, I'm busy living way, it wakes up his awareness. He starts wondering where you are, who you're with, what you're doing. That wondering turns into interest. That interest turns into effort. Suddenly, he's texting first, planning something, asking questions, because your absence has created presence in his mind. Absence is not silence. It's not being cold. It's the art of not being constantly available. When you're always there, always on call, always responsive, he never gets to feel the thrill of missing you. And missing someone is a powerful emotional experience. It builds appreciation, sharpens memory, and deepens value. He remembers your laugh differently, your scent more vividly. Your last moment together starts replaying in his head like a movie scene. Being unavailable sometimes also reinforces that you have a life, and men respect women with lives. You're not sitting around waiting. You're growing, glowing, enjoying your passions, connecting with friends, pursuing your goals. That self-contained joy is irresistible. It says, I'm complete with or without you. And paradoxically, that's what makes a man want to be part of your world even more. It's important to understand that making your absence felt isn't manipulation, it's balance. It's saying, I love spending time with you, but I don't need to be attached at the hip to feel whole. It's knowing your worth and understanding that attraction deepens in the moments between. Too much closeness can dull the edge of desire. Space sharpens it. And let's be honest, men are hunters by nature, but there's nothing to chase if you're constantly in front of them. Give them a little distance. Let them feel the sting of your silence. Let them remember how it feels to have you close, so they come back craving it. Your absence should whisper, she's not waiting. That whisper creates urgency. Men don't fall in love with someone who's always available. They fall for the woman who lives so fully that her time feels like a privilege, not a guarantee. So don't rush to reply. Don't say yes when you really want to say maybe. Don't cancel your plans to fit his. You are not a background character in his life. You are the main character of yours. And when he sees that, he'll want a front row seat every time. Be playful, not performative. Flirting isn't an audition. It's not about proving you're good enough, smart enough, pretty enough, or low maintenance enough to win a man's approval. It's about creating a light, joyful energy between two people. A back and forth dance of wit, timing, eye contact, and, most importantly, fun. When you're being playful, you're not trying to be perfect. You're trying to connect. The danger of being performative is that it puts you in your head. You start analyzing everything. Did I say the right thing? Was that joke too much? Is my laugh weird? Suddenly, you're not even present. You're acting, hoping to be accepted. But the truth is, men don't fall in love with performances, they fall in love with presence. With the way you make them feel. And nothing makes a man feel more relaxed, more drawn in, than a woman who can be silly, spontaneous, and slightly unpredictable. Being playful is teasing him a little about his terrible music taste. It's making a ridiculous face when he tries to impress you. It's pretending not to know how to do something just so he can teach you. It's saying, "Oh really? That's your best pickup line," and laughing, not because you're mocking him, but because you're inviting him into a shared joke. That's what makes sparks fly. Playfulness also takes the pressure off. Instead of treating every conversation like it has to mean something, you let it just be. And ironically, that creates more meaning. Because you're building memories, you're creating energy, you're showing that you can enjoy the moment without needing to control it. Performative energy, on the other hand, is exhausting. It looks like laughing too hard at unfunny jokes. It sounds like constantly agreeing, even when you don't. It feels like trying to be the cool girl who never has a need, a boundary, or a bad day. But here's the truth. Real connection isn't built on being agreeable. It's built on being authentic. And authenticity has a sense of humor. Men don't want a flawless script, they want a woman who can play. Who can roll with the moment. Who can dish it and take it. Who can laugh at herself, challenge him a little, keep him on his toes. That unpredictability, that's dopamine, that's emotional chemistry. And that's what keeps him thinking about you long after the night ends. So ditch the pressure to get it right. Instead, flirt like you have nothing to prove. Tease him, joke with him, make weird analogies, say something that makes you both laugh until it's awkward, and let it be awkward. The right man won't be scared off by your quirks. He'll be enchanted by them. Because in a world full of women trying to be polished and perfect, the one who's just being her fun, playful, unpredictable self. She's the one who stands out. She's the one who stays in his mind. She's the one who gets remembered. Every single time. Have a life bigger than him. The most irresistible women are the ones who live fully, love deeply, and never shrink their world to fit inside someone else's. When a man sees that he's not the center of your universe, but rather a welcomed, lucky addition to it, everything about your energy changes. You go from being someone who needs him to someone who chooses him. And that choice, that's where true power lives. Your passions, your dreams, your friendships, your routines, your ambitions, they are the heartbeat of your identity. And when you honor them, when you prioritize them, you send a clear, undeniable message. I was whole before you. I'll be whole after you. But while you're here, we can create something beautiful together. That balance is magnetic. It tells a man that your love isn't rooted in dependency, but in depth. So many women unintentionally lose themselves in a relationship, slowly giving up the hobbies that once lit them up, the social life that once energized them, the goals that once drove them. And often, it's not even dramatic. It happens in small, subtle sacrifices. But what's lost along the way is the essence of what made her captivating in the first place. Her world starts to orbit around him. And eventually, he can feel that shift, and the dynamic begins to change. Men respect women who are in motion, women who are chasing something beyond a relationship. Maybe it's your career, your art, your self-growth, your travel goals, or your desire to build a community. Whatever it is, let it thrive. Because when a man sees you light up about something that has nothing to do with him, it does something primal to his respect for you. He starts to admire you not just as a lover, but as a woman with substance. It also creates emotional stability. When he knows you're not relying on him to entertain you, validate you, or give your life meaning, he breathes easier. The relationship becomes a choice, not an obligation. And ironically, that's when he leans in more. Because no man wants to feel like he's your lifeline. He wants to feel like he's lucky to be invited into your amazing world. Having a life bigger than him also acts as a filter. It shows you who can handle your fullness. Some men may feel intimidated by a woman who doesn't need them, and that's okay. Let them go. The right man will celebrate it. He'll cheer you on, not slow you down. He'll want to be part of your mission, not your escape from it. And let's be honest, there's nothing sexier than a woman who walks in her purpose. A woman who knows what she wants, who nurtures her talents, who prioritizes her joy. That energy is contagious. It elevates everything. It turns heads not because it's loud, but because it's centered. So go to your dance class. Start that business. Book the solo trip. Write the book. Cultivate the friendships. Chase the wild dream. Because a man should never be the reason you stop. He should be the one running beside you, amazed that he gets to witness the fire up close. You don't need a crown. You are the crown. Never forget that. Know when to walk away. This is the move that separates the girls from the women. The moment when you say, I love myself more than I love potential. Knowing when to walk away isn't cold. It's not cruel. It's a radical act of self-respect. Because staying with someone who disrespects, confuses, or mistreats you doesn't prove your loyalty, it reveals your boundaries. Or lack thereof. Let's be honest, emotional inconsistency is not romantic. It's chaos disguised as passion. If he's hot one day, cold the next. If he disappears for days and returns with excuses. If he gives just enough to keep you hoping but never enough to make you feel secure, that's not a connection. That's a mind game. And the longer you stay in that cycle, the more it chips away at your confidence, your clarity, and your peace. You deserve to be chosen clearly, loved consistently, respected unconditionally. Anything less is noise, and your job is to protect your peace, not wait for a man to figure out how to treat you right. Walking away doesn't mean you didn't care. It means you cared enough about yourself to leave. It's the ultimate mic drop. It says, I'm not waiting around to be convinced. I know my worth. That energy is rare, and men feel it. Some will try to chase it when it's gone. Some will realize too late what they lost. But that's not your problem. You're not here to teach grown men how to love. You're here to live your life in alignment with your values. Knowing when to walk away also resets your inner compass. It reminds you that no matter how charming he is, how good the chemistry feels, or how great the potential is, your standards are non-negotiable. They don't bend for butterflies. They don't make exceptions for broken promises. They stand tall, and when a man can't meet them, you walk. No drama, no tears, just truth. And here's what's wild. When you walk away from the wrong one, you make space for the right one. Emotionally, energetically, spiritually, you stop clinging to crumbs and start expecting the feast. You stop shrinking to be loved and start expanding in your power. This moment, the decision to leave, is a sacred one. It's where your future changes, where your heart gets realigned with your highest self. You don't owe anyone endless chances. You don't have to justify your standards. And you absolutely don't have to stay just because you've already stayed this long. So if you've been waiting for a sign, for clarity, for permission, this is it. Leave the table where love is no longer being served. Because when you walk away from what isn't for you, you're not losing. You're rising, and the woman who rises, she never begs, she never settles, she simply walks, straight into the life she actually deserves. Every woman has the power to captivate, not because of looks or status or age, but because of energy. There's a common misconception that attraction is about surface-level traits, beauty, youth, wealth, or popularity. But if that were true, the most loved women in the world would all look the same, live the same, and act the same. And yet, they don't. Because real magnetism, the kind that draws people in, holds their attention, and stays in their mind long after the moment has passed, doesn't come from appearance. It comes from energy. Your energy is your vibe. It's what people feel before you even speak. It's in your eye contact, your presence, your confidence, your stillness. It's how grounded you are in who you are, and how unapologetically you own it. That energy doesn't come from trying to impress anyone. It comes from loving yourself so much that your validation doesn't live in his eyes, it lives in your bones. It's that self-assured grace when you walk into a room without needing to dominate it, but still turn heads. It's in the way you listen, not just with your ears, but with your full attention. It's in your laughter, not forced, not polite, but real. Alive, free, that's the energy that sticks. When a woman is intentional, she moves with clarity. She doesn't waste her time. She doesn't entertain half-effort, mixed signals, or temporary affection. She sets the tone in every interaction, not because she's controlling, but because she's clear. Clarity is sexy. It tells a man, I know what I want, and I know what I deserve. That alone changes how he approaches you. When a woman is playful, she doesn't take herself too seriously. She knows life is too short for overthinking, people-pleasing, or trying to be perfect. Her joy is contagious. Her spirit feels like a breath of fresh air. She flirts with ease, jokes without fear, teases with charm. And because she's not performing, she's enjoying, people naturally gravitate toward her. Especially men, because men fall in love not just with what they see, but with how a woman makes them feel. And playfulness makes them feel alive. When a woman is self-respecting, her boundaries are graceful but firm. She knows when to say yes, when to say no, and when to walk away. She doesn't chase, she doesn't beg, she doesn't shrink. Why? Because she knows she's the prize, and not in a cocky way, but in a deeply rooted, soulful way. She's not afraid of being alone, because she likes who she is when she's alone. And that energy, that's what makes her unforgettable. Men don't just notice women like this, they remember them. Long after the date ends. Long after the last text. Long after they've tried to replace her with someone who seemed easier, or simpler, or more predictable. The woman with intentional, playful, self-respecting energy is the one who becomes the standard. The one who sets the bar higher. The one who shows him what real connection could feel like. And the best part? This energy isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. It starts the moment you stop trying to be chosen and start choosing yourself. The moment you stop needing attention and start commanding respect. The moment you realize your worth isn't based on how someone treats you, it's based on how you treat yourself. So if no one has told you this lately, you don't have to be younger. You don't have to be thinner. You don't have to be louder or quieter or anything other than what you already are, when you fully own it. Love yourself enough to set the tone. To bring joy. To never settle for less than you deserve. That's the energy that captivates. And once you tap into it, the right man won't just notice, he won't forget. If this gave you some new ideas or even just a spark of confidence, hit that like button, subscribe, and check the links below for more videos that'll help you level up in life, love, and self-worth. You deserve it, Queen. Every step you take toward owning your power brings you closer to the version of you that radiates confidence, peace, and self-love. You don't have to do it all at once. Just start, today, right now. You're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be. See you in the next one.